Welcome to Step 3, Giving Credit for Articles. Now, this is something I've mentioned before. This is the Purdue Online Writing Lab, which is basically like a textbook of all things writing in one place on the internet. Purdue is a university, and they have kindly created this free resource for all of us to use, and it is awesome. So, if you want to learn more about MLA formatting, all you have to do is come here, and it literally will tell you the basics. Here's basically how it's going to go. It will tell you if you need to cite a specific electronic source. You want to figure out how to cite a YouTube video if for some reason that will be helpful to your argument, then you may do so here. Um, it really has everything you need to know to be able to cite your sources. Also, I want to show you something over here. It also has information about, here's what a works cited page looks like, just so you can get the idea. Here's a sample paper, so you can see what it looks like, and it has all these little blue and green boxes so that it can show you, like, here is why it looks the way it does, here is why this is like that. So it's just useful for the formatting. And also up here it has in-text citations. Basically, here's how to do all of the stuff that you're going to need to do inside your paper and not just the works cited page. So it is a really, really useful resource. Use it. Now, that being said, I'm going to show you some shortcuts to creating a works cited page. I can't show you a shortcut for doing in-text citations, sorry, but I can for a works cited page. So I'm going to show you how to do that on each of the 4 databases that we're going to look at. So remember this amazing page right here. Oh, first, I want to show you something. There's this thing called Noodle Tools, which is, it will kind of, you can put in all the information. You have to just create an account. You put in all the information that you need, like the author, the title, the publisher, all that stuff. You just kind of type it in, and it will put it in any format that you need. So it might be a useful thing for this class, and it also might be useful, say, if you're in a psychology class and they want you to use APA instead of MLA. This will help you to do that. I'm not going to explain how to do that. There are all of these tools over here, all of these handouts that explain exactly how to do it. So you can read those if you want to do that. Now I know I just told you the long way to go about making your MLA works cited information for yourself, but I'm also going to show you a very quick shortcut to how to do this, because most of these databases have already included a way for you to easily know how to cite this information. So you just find the article that you are interested in and you click on it. And then over here on the right, you'll see you can email it to yourself, save it, all sorts of things. And then this very important thing called cite. So you can scroll down and figure out which format we're using, which is MLA. And there it is. This is exactly what you can. You can just copy and paste this into a Word document, and now you already have that information. So it's pretty easy to use, and then it'll be how it's supposed to be. So, and it's pretty much the same for any of the other databases, because EBSCO is the host for all of these different databases. And so it works pretty much the same way. Say that I find one down here that I think is interesting. I click on it. And again, I go over here to cite, find the correct citation, MLA, and then I copy and paste it to a Word document. So you might have to later change the formatting of your Word document to make sure the formatting all fits, or I can show you how to do that right now. You can copy it, and the easiest way to open up a Word document, and I would ask you to do something called, instead of paste, you paste special, which means you want to do the unformatted text. And that way it doesn't have any of the weird formatting that it did earlier. And so that way you can make it look like it needs to look like, where you can change the paragraphing to double space. And then you're going to need that hanging indent too. And so what you do is you don't take this top triangle, you take this bottom triangle, and you make sure it's on the second line, the cursor's on the second line, and then you move it over, and there we go. So that's how you can format it correctly on your paper. Another thing I want to point out is if you find an article like this one that has this number, this DOI number, you definitely want to be sure to include that. So a DOI is a digital object identifier, and it's a persistent link to a location on the internet for a document. And it's actually more helpful to the reader than just the website that sometimes the citation pulls up, which is just a website to the EBSCOhost site. Sometimes it doesn't actually link to your document. So if you do have this DOI number, make sure that that is part of the citation that you copy. And I think it would copy along with all of the other stuff. So if you cite it and you go to MLA, it does cite the DOI number, but that's a really important number and super helpful. See, like this one, it doesn't take you to EBSCOhost. It doesn't take you to just the regular website. It takes you to that specific document. So that's really helpful to your readers if they actually want to know more information and actually want to read that document themselves.